Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sportsbook Review's coverage of Euro 2020. We're back again. We're working very hard throughout this tournament to deliver lots of picks for our favourite viewers. Today, I have the legendary handicappers Alex Classic Tips and George Gamble alongside me. Delighted to have you both here, gentlemen. And we are covering the final four games from the round of 16. That is Croatia versus Spain, France against Switzerland, England versus Germany, and Sweden versus Ukraine. Anyway, Alex, how's it going? Has the heat wave subsided a little bit in Romania, or are you still cooling yourself down by covering yourself in mud and water?
Yeah, in mud with mud and water, absolutely. Yeah, no, today is the last day as I'm reading the news and I'm watching the weather reports and forecasts and all that. Tomorrow it should be better. So tomorrow I'm preparing myself a nice barbecue because today is my birthday. I'm 39 years old today. Yeah.
Happy birthday!
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday.
Click the like button now.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Kept that one very, very quiet.
Yeah, I'm not that person. Yeah, the phone ringed a lot today, messages from everyone, but I didn't spread the word on social media or anything. Not even my colleagues from SBR don't know nothing about that. Probably my boss, as he's watching this show, will immediately call me after the show or write me on Slack. But yeah, great. Exactly what did I say to you? He just wrote me on Slack. So yeah, Euro. I'm very pumped for this round of 16. I think that the matches will be great. England versus Germany should be a really, really entertaining show. But also, I think that also the other matches have potential. Croatia versus Spain, also France versus Switzerland should be a good one to watch. And even Sweden versus Ukraine. To be honest, yes, Ukraine pretty disappointed with them in their last match against Austria, but still there.
Alex, how are you going to celebrate your birthday? Will alcoholic beverages be consumed?
No.
Teetotal Alex Campean over here.
Yeah, no, only tea, like George said, and probably fresh of oranges, like that.
And meditate, maybe. Do some good meditating.
Yeah. Yoga, don't forget about yoga.
Do some yoga, meditate, drink some tea, and have an early night. Great, glad to hear it. Keeping it clean here at SBR Sports Picks. George, England versus Germany at Wembley. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, the thing is, we just knew it was going to happen, didn't we? I mean, obviously, it was with all the games going on in that group of death. I think it changed every minute in terms of who we were playing. But
almost to Hungary.
I know
it's close to Hungary.
But England, Germany, it's an international derby, isn't it? Absolutely love this game. I mean, I've got quite a few German friends as well, and they're all up for it. I just can't wait for it. I mean, on paper and the way things are going, you think, yeah, England are going to win it. But I'm very wary of the English optimism where we think we're going to go into everything and win it. But it's going to be an absolutely brilliant game. I do see goals in the game as well. I just cannot wait for it. It's going to be brilliant.
Excellent. Yeah, me too. Can't wait. Loving all the chat.
I have two guys from England, Martin and George, all together. Both of them with England. Probably they will support England on the match. But my problem here is that all of you guys from England, you always have something to say negative about England, Always, I don't think that they will go the way. I think, no, they are overrated a little bit. Like Martin is always saying about his lovely Arsenal team in the Premier League and the European Cups. Yeah, not a lot. I don't know. Like George now, I don't know what to say.
But Alex, we're realists. We're realists. We've been disappointed by England time and time again. We go into every tournament shouting, "It's coming home. It's coming home. It's guaranteed." And then something happens, and we're just awful and dumped out of competition. So yes, we can get excited, but we're just waiting around the corner for that one moment that's like, well, what were we talking about? We're awful. So we're optimistic but pessimistic at the exact same time. It's the ultimate oxymoron.
One day it's going to come home. Got lots of love in the chat. Aloha from Hawaii, Ashley Wade. Thank you very much. Hola Barca man. Hi everybody. Hi Olga. My favourite comment so far though has to be from Jason Mull. I heard Alex's birthday request was not to be interrupted by Tancredi Palmieri. Well, that would be a real turn up for the books, wouldn't it? So enjoy yourself.
This is why I requested Georgie into the show, right?
We're going to keep it civil. No one's at airports. No one's walking around doing crazy things. No gonzo journalism today. Just football picks. And we are starting with Croatia versus Spain in Copenhagen. This is going to be Spain's first match away from Seville. They've had it very comfortable so far, all on home turf. They made a bit of a meal of qualifying, to be honest. Couple of disappointing draws to kick things off, despite dominating possession. And then they finally exploded into life in the final game, which was good because I had Spain minus 1.5 and Spain over 2.5 goals. So that was fantastic. But can they keep the momentum going against the Croatia team that suddenly remembered they know how to play football against Scotland and were... You know, Luka Modric completely ran rings around that Scottish field. What do you think, Alex, birthday boy? How's this one going to pan out?
Luka Modric, what a nice goal. I think that one of the best top three, in my opinion, goals so far for this Euro. Of course, Patrick Schick will remain till the end of the tournament number one. But also Luka Modric, also Perisic, great skills. He solved the match against the Czech Republic on his own. Basically, because of him, they made a draw. They won a point and they qualified in the last 16. Right now against Spain. Spain with not a proper striker there, or let's say that they have, but that proper striker that they have is missing a lot. Let's put it this way. He needs 20 opportunities to score a goal. You know, like even from a penalty spot, they will not score. They missed 2 penalty kicks in the group stage, one from Morata and one from Moreno. Let's say that Moreno's ones was a little bit better taken, but Morata, I don't know, his lack of confidence right now is the key to this Spanish side. But some other players turned to the goal scoring. Sarabia, Laporte. I think that they helped a little bit Morata not to be so disappointed, not to be so disappointed, you know, because Morata came with the news yesterday that he feels very insecure because he's receiving threats from the fans all across social media. I don't agree with this type of behavior. Don't get me wrong. No, there is no actual... Nobody is allowed to threaten your family and to say about your children or about your family stuff. But we are now in the social media level in 2021. The same thing would have happened also in the 90s if social media was around. So the players are a little bit sensitive now with all those millions of followers. It's normal for people to hate you. It's normal for the people to love you. At the end of the day, you are a star and they are showing you on TV. And the people are, how you say, doing crosses to you every day, you know? But if you have a bad match, be sure that they will hate you.
This Euro 2020 has been great for social media. All our picks are coming in. Everyone's thanking us. We're getting appreciation from all over the world. I'm loving it. But the trolls are always going to troll on social media.
Of course, and we love our trolls. This is the most important thing. If you don't have haters, you're not doing something good. So thank God that we have haters.
You got to put yourself out there. You got to get in the arena. Brene Brown. Exactly. What's going to happen in this game, Alex? Can they beat Croatia?
Yeah, I think that they will beat Croatia. I think that they are better right now. But I think that also Croatia will find the back of the net here with that magnificent middle and up with Modric, with Perisic, maybe with Rebic stepping in, bringing his A game there. They have quality from the middle and up, but also does Spain. Spain are great one-on-one. They can create a lot of scoring opportunities, chances, and that Croatian back doesn't look good at all. So I fancy 2-1, 3-0 type of match. So this is why I'm going with over 2.5 goals in the match at 2.05.
Oh, thank you very much, Alex. Rude Boy wants to know if he is a troll. Sometimes you are a troll, Rude Boy, but we love you all the same. I hope it's not you that's been trolling Alvaro Morata on social media. There we go. George, what do you think? What are you going for in this game?
Yeah, similar thoughts to Alex. I do expect there to be goals in this game. I was actually kind of looking at the odds, because when I was looking at it, Croatia were around 5-1, so that's around plus 500, and and those odds have even drifted now. You can get them at around plus 580, I believe. And when they're around those kind of odds, the chance of winning, particularly plus 500, was around 17%. And in previous times, sort of recent history, they only win 1% of those matches when they're priced up similarly. So they don't tend to cause many upsets. They've also failed to keep a clean sheet in their last 4 meetings with Spain, and they haven't kept a clean sheet in any of their last 5 games as a whole. They don't tend to see too many goals in their games, usually. I've been seeing under 2.5 in 4 of their last 5, but they're playing a Spain side who create chances for fun, it seems. It's just a case of them not taking them. And we saw in their latest game where they absolutely thumped Slovakia, it seemed to be a goal every time they went forward. And I think there's a little bit of momentum here. Obviously, Alex has already alluded to the news with Morata, and I did see that myself. And so I do kind of wonder whether Luis Enrique is the kind of guy that might shield him for this one and bring a few of the others in. We saw Ferran Torres, come on and pretty much score with his first touch. So they've got that strength in depth. So it'll be interesting to see if they do start Morata, because in a weird way, I think they could be potentially more effective going forward without him, because, as Alex said, they've got a centre forward, but he's missing a lot of attributes. His confidence is low, and I think it might benefit them to perhaps put Morata on the bench and bring someone such as Ferran Torres on instead.
Or move Gerard Moreno in that position.
Yeah, exactly.
The game they played in the first one, I believe, against Sweden. Yeah, that 0-0, that 0-0 draw. When from the time that Gerard Moreno came on the pitch, all the match changed, and Oyarzabal also. Both of them brought quality. It was a little bit of the star that that is coming. Yeah. Okay, let's put something together. And you can feel that something improved without Morata and with Gerard Moreno in his position.
Exactly. I mean, I found it baffling they left him on the bench in the first place. You look at his output and his numbers for Villarreal this season. A player like that you need on the pitch. And as you said, when he came on, completely changed the whole dynamic of the game. But looking a bit more into this game, I'm not worried about this Croatia side in the slightest, personally. Maybe I'm overlooking them, but I feel for them, it was just moments of magic in this tournament. Against Scotland, obviously, Modric was just fantastic. You never lose that ability, that class. He really was brilliant. But, they obviously finished second in Group D, and I think they were fortunate to do so. If you look at the underlying numbers, they gained obviously 4 points, but they lost the XG battle in every single one of their fixtures. The opponents created the much better chances against them. And in terms of kind of XG difference, it was minus 2.18. So, they conceded far more chances than they created for themselves. And as a result, I just don't think they should be feared in this competition or really in this match. Because you look at Luis Enrique's side, as we've already said, they were incredibly wasteful in front of goal prior to that 5-goal demolition of Slovakia, scoring only 2 times from a total of 6.07 XG. They created a hatful of chances. Obviously, got those 2 penalties as well that they missed. And I do think there is a little bit of momentum with this Spain side now. And if they've got their act together up top, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in this tournament. And I don't think Croatia, they're, like I said, they're an Asian squad. I don't think they're going to contain this Spain side. Spain are also averaging the 3rd most shots per game so far this tournament out of any other side, around 16 per game. Like I said, I agree with Alex. I do think there'll be goals in this game. But for me, I just see Spain putting a beating on Croatia. So I've gone with the Spain on the -1 handicap, and that was at plus 107. So, even if it is for some reason just a 2-1 win, we get our stake back. I don't see Spain not winning this game, and I'm expecting them to cover that handicap. But even if they just win by a single goal, we get our stake back. So for me, Spain on the -1 was a solid pick.
Interesting. Yeah, I think Spain probably will win it. I don't think they've quite come up against a midfield with the quality of Croatia just yet. So it will certainly be a stern test of their mettle, and it'll be interesting to see if they continue on an upward curve. I've just gone for both teams to score in this one. I really do feel like Croatia can unlock this Spain defence once. I just think Modric is going to have another big game. Could be his last game at a major tournament if they go out and he doesn't carry on until the next World Cup. I can see a couple of moments of magic from this Croatia team, so I think they'll get on the score sheet. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Spain will be going through to the next round. Okay, we'll move.
Sorry, Martin. Before going further with the show, I just wanted to ask George, because I'm watching all the shows, obviously, even if I'm not in the show, and I see he's mentioning a lot of that XG, and he's bringing it up many, many times. I wanted to ask him how important he considers XG when placing a bet.
It's not the most important thing. However, I do believe it has a lot of importance, because if you look at XG over the course of a period of time, a tournament, a season, things even out. If teams are creating these chances and aren't taking them, eventually they will be taking these chances. And it's relative in that, for me, applying it to this game, yes, Spain obviously have come up against some opponents they should have been beaten, but they've had a 0-0 draw of a Sweden side who are very compact, and their teamwork is, as a collective, they're just brilliant. But for me, the chances that they create against teams like that, who I deem probably better organised than Croatia, I think for me, the chances they create, they will be taking some of those chances against this Croatia side. If you look at the numbers they put out, and that beating against Slovakia, that wasn't a lucky anomaly. They create those kind of chances every single game. And with this Croatia side, aside, say, Scotland, where I know they got beaten 3-1, but nevertheless, Scotland hadn't scored yet in this tournament. Croatia still allowed them to overrun them at certain points throughout the game and let them get a foothold, and Scotland looked dangerous. Scotland aren't Spain. And if Spain create the kind of chances that they do, dedicated by the XG that has been outputted there, I just don't see how Spain don't take some of the many chances that they're likely to make against this Croatia side. So for me, XG is a very good guideline of the likely big chances that can be created in certain games if there is a pattern there. So for me, it's more of a reference point rather than basing a whole pick on it. But like I said, over the course of a season or tournament, things tend to even out. So if a team is conceding, if a team's conceding a lot of chances but have kept it relatively tight by the skin of their teeth, at some point, that's not going to happen, and they're going to concede a lot of goals, and it works both ways. So for me, it's a very good reference point.
This is a good spot here. It's a good reference, but don't take it only on the XG, guys. This is why I brought the discussion, because probably many of our viewers don't know even what is an XG, what is the factor of the XG, So I think that it's important, but it's exactly as important as the statistics, from the last 20 games, something like that,
It's really when you're
cards and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but not everything is XG and statistics. No. This is what I wanted to say to you.
Exactly. It's merely a part of the things that you reference when you're looking for a pick. It merely supports it. It's not the sole basis of what you base your pick on.
Well, if it was only on XG, Brighton would be playing Champions League football next season.
Exactly.
They missed a bunch of chances. They should have finished third or fourth based on their chances. But if you don't stick the ball in the back of the net, you don't win games. And that's why you don't normally want to have Alvaro Morata up front. But guys, we must move on. We digress. France versus Switzerland is our next game to cover. And this is going to be a big one. France managed to finish top of the group of death. Despite some unconvincing performances, they actually, finished above Germany and Portugal. So we have to give them some credit for that. Yeah, interesting win against Germany in the first game. They've underperformed for me since then, but their reward is a reasonably comfortable clash against the Switzerland team that haven't looked very good at all. I'm expecting a pretty comfortable win for France in this one. What's your take, George?
Yeah, completely agree. I think the thing with France is you look at them and they still look like they've got a third, fourth and fifth gear to go through. They've not left second yet. For me, looking at those games, obviously that the win against Germany wasn't very convincing in my opinion, but they got the job done N'Golo Kante and Pogba looking absolutely brilliant in that midfield yet again. I believe that's 30 games they've played together and started where they've not lost. Then obviously had that very, very disappointing draw with Hungary in the Puskás Arena. And obviously then their game against Portugal, where it was goals galore. But yeah, for me, France just haven't started yet. And they do tend to start these tournaments slow, but they know how to win tournaments, as we've seen in the World Cup. In the latter stages, they just get the job done. And that's what they're efficient. They know what they're doing. And they've got a manager in Deschamps who's very pragmatic, despite the talent that he's got at his disposal, the likes of Mbappe, Griezmann, Pogba. They don't play this flamboyant, elaborate football. They get the job done. They play it tight. They play it nitty gritty. And as long as they can get that win, that's all they care about. And Deschamps isn't the kind of man that will just change that to appease the neutral who wants to see exciting football, an exciting brand of football. He just wants to. It's a results-driven business, and he's already proven he knows how to get those results. But yeah, for me, France still got a few gears to go into. In terms of playing Switzerland, they've not lost any of their last 6 to Switzerland, and in fact, France haven't lost any of their last 10 games. They've also scored first in 6 out of their 8 games. And we've seen recently with France that when they do score, they tend to like to defend it. Obviously, we didn't see that against Portugal, as I said, plenty of goals there. But Switzerland, they failed to keep a clean sheet in their last 3 matches. And they can be got at, I think, particularly with this France side, the likes of Mbappe. Switzerland have conceded goals to some relatively average teams in comparison to France. But there's also been over 2.5 goals in 5 of Switzerland's last 6 games overall. But Switzerland have also scored first in 7 of their last 9, so they know where the goal is. They're just a bit weak at the back, in my opinion. But yeah, at the same time, it's difficult to argue against France's favouritism for Euro 2020. But they're obviously you've got 2 separate halves in terms of kind of the period in the route to the final. And there's no doubt France are in the tougher one for sure. If they win this one, for example, they've then got to play most likely Spain if they can get past Croatia. But then they've got the likes of Italy, Belgium or Portugal to get past. So it's a very tough route for them, which is why, for me, I think Deschamps is just going to want to see this one out, get the job done quickly and focus and get out with no injuries so they can focus on the bigger games. But I do fancy France to score a couple past Switzerland here. I just worry about that Swiss defence against this France side. And I think they get the job done with relative ease, maybe a 2-0, 3-1. So for me, just France to score 2 more goals in the game at -125 look to pick for me.
Sounds good. Yeah, France are still unbeaten in this tournament, and they've never really looked like being beaten, to be fair. No. They have looked very comfortable and composed, I thought, in all of their games. Unfortunate for me, that referee performance against Portugal. And they grow into a tournament, don't they? So, in the last World Cup, they only narrowly scraped victory against Australia and Peru, and then they drew 0-0 with Denmark, and no one was particularly excited. And then they just swept everyone aside in the knockout stage of the tournament. Do we think that's going to happen again, Alex? Do you see them convincingly beating Switzerland in this one?
Yeah, I want to repeat that I'm very happy that Mateu Lahoz will retire after Euro 2020. I want him to go to see his grandkids and to live his life after serving us multiple bad games, one after the other, Champions League final, Euro 2020.
But the thing is, Alex, he'll be at his grandchildren's birthday and he'll just make it all about himself.
He will show cards everywhere,
And he'll be jumping in front of the camera, dancing about, making himself attention.
That's the only time he does dish out cards at the moment. Is when he's at birthday parties.
Oh my God! Yeah, absolutely insane from Mateu Lahoz. And I don't know why they even consider him the best referee right now in the world, at least in Europe. About France, like George said, they are very consistent and efficient. And in my opinion, France are like a train going from the station, little by little, till the full, after that with a full swing, boom. And, yeah, exactly. What I've seen against Portugal, it was like they didn't want to push it. They didn't want to push it because for me, seeing, again, I don't understand why Tancredi is saying that France versus Portugal was by far the best match from the group stage. For me, I don't have it even in the top 3. I consider a match with one corner in 90 minutes. I don't know. It's unbelievable how that happened. 2-2. normal how to say approach from the French team that with a little push they could have easily win against Portugal. Portugal a little bit lucky, let's put it this way. On the other side, exactly Switzerland, when they are facing a better team, what happened against Italy? Italy didn't let them breathe. 3-0, shake hands, go home. That's it. You didn't do anything in that match, Switzerland. So I think that this will easily happen against the French side. Very big problems, as you guys mentioned, at the back from Switzerland. The win against Turkey wasn't very impressive because, as I said, Turkey was the worst side from this entire tournament. So I think that France -1 at 1.95 on the Asian handicap. So in case they win by 1 goal, it's a void. So 1.95. But I also love George's over 1.5 total team goals for France. Yeah, I love it.
Okay, great. Sounds good. I'm just going for France to win and over 1.5 goals in this game. I got -105 on that, which fits in with what you both said. I think France can score twice in this game. This is this is a Switzerland team that were dominated by Italy, and I think that France can do a similar job on them. Great, thank you very much both. Moving on to the big one. England versus Germany at Wembley. That's the band. Let's have the graphics. There they are. It's beautiful. Isn't it? England versus Germany at a major tournament. What could possibly go wrong? I'm having
nothing. It's coming home. It's coming home.
Euro 96. Oh, I was a boy. I'm still traumatized by it. But can we exact some revenge? England have got home advantage. They won their group in relatively comfortable fashion. And this is their reward, a clash with Germany, but they have home advantage. Oh, what do we think, Alex? As more of a neutral sort of fan, who's going to prevail in this one?
I think that we might even see a draw in 90 minutes and go to extra time here. I think it's one of those matches, 2-2 kind of draw. I'm seeing it with both teams having an amazing firepower in the attack. But I wonder Southgate who will bring into the starting 11, because this is the big question. We are not talking about how England will show up, what the game, how good they will be. No. Every time we have to talk what starting 11 will Southgate put on the pitch. With Rashford and Sancho and Grealish, with Sterling and Saka and whom else, and Kane, and I don't know. I really don't understand what he's doing. I think that you guys understand it better because you are from England, and I'm sure that you guys understand him a lot better than the rest of the world does. Germany, not the best team that they have at their disposal right now. They were a little bit lucky against Portugal with those two own goals from Portugal. They were almost out of the tournament in that 2-2 draw against Hungary. They created a lot of opportunities, but nothing, not very consistent from them. Still, they have a great team. I think that not to complicate anything here, not to play the winners market, not to play who will advance or nothing. You play both teams to score, and you get a good price for that, 1.85 -120, and you cash your ticket, drink your beer, and go home.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, there is a lot of chat about who's going to start for England. Just because he's got so many options at his disposal, like you said. Mason Mount is kind of isolating because of the whole Billy Gilmore incident. That might rule him out, not sure. Bukayo Saka looked very good when he came into the team. Then, like you say, you've got Grealish, you've got Phil Foden, you've got Rashford, you've got Sancho. Obviously, Harry Kane has to start up front, but there's so many options there. He's got like loads of the best right backs in the world. It's a good problem to have, but he's going to be under pressure, under real pressure to pick the correct starting 11. It's going to be a real clash of styles because England still haven't conceded a goal at this tournament. Very tight, very dull, very turgid, but very effective football. Whereas Germany have been running around like headless chickens, conceding all sorts of goals and giving their fans a bit of a heart attack in terms of actually qualifying for the knockout stages of this tournament. What do you think is going to prevail, George? Is it going to be England's steely determination, or is it going to be the swashbuckling flair of the Germans?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, you can tell this is a big game just purely because of the mind games. Obviously, we know Sir Alex Ferguson used to be a master of that, and we've seen Lothar Matthäus come out this week and say, well, if you're not going to play Sancho, we'll happily offer him a German passport and he can play for us. And you can see it all kicking off already, and it's just excellent for the build-up. But also in terms of the team selection, I mean, because we saw in that game against Portugal, you've already alluded to the fact Portugal conceded some very sloppy own goals and Germany was somewhat fortunate. But also, let's not forget, Robin Gosens just absolutely terrorised Semedo down the German left-hand side. So I think we need to be wary of that. There's been rumours of Southgate potentially trying to deploy a 3-5-2 or something like that. And I hope we don't. I hope we play with that 4 at the back. But I'm obviously a City fan, love Kyle Walker, but he's not the man to play in this game, in my opinion. I think Kieran Trippier is much more defensively solid. And I think we all want to build a foundation to build our attacks off. And Trippier containing Gosens, I think, is of vital importance in this game. But yeah, despite the rivalry, 8 of the last 8 head-to-heads have actually seen under 5 cards. So I'm not expecting to see fouls galore in this one. I don't expect to see a higher number of cards. I think technically these sides are too good and won't get drawn into a game like that.
What's the line now? 3.5?
I think it was around 3.5 when I last looked, yeah. So I won't be playing cards on this one at all for me. But essentially kind of echoing sort of what Alex said about the game. But yeah, also England have lost none of their last 9 matches, haven't conceded in 5 of those either. And there's also been under 2.5 in the last 5 England matches too. But they've also failed to score in 3 of the last 4 against Germany. I think a lot of the times in these kind of games, you get very few international derbies, but this is one of them. And in derbies, a lot of the time form can go out of the window. And I think we saw the first half in our final group game against the Czech Republic. We looked quite good, to be honest. The intensity was there, but then that dwindled in the second half and we went kind of back to playing the boring, monotonous football that we've grown accustomed to seeing in this tournament under Southgate. But yeah, Germany themselves, we've already said that they're a bit dodgy at the back and they've not kept a clean sheet in any of their last 6 matches. Both teams have also scored in 5 of Germany's last 6 games overall, and that includes when they played Latvia. So they're still able to concede against the Latvians. But starting with the positive, England are yet to concede a goal, and they topped the group, and they limited their opponents to just an average of 0.5 goals against per game in terms of chances, XG, and so they are defensively solid at the back, whether that's because they've been lucky or they've been brilliant at the back and organised, who knows. But we've got Maguire to come back into it too, and he obviously is one of the first names on that team sheet. England have also scored twice from 22 shots and totaling 4.3 XG, and they do often look to slow the game down when in possession. And for me, I think, going back to what you said, Alex, we've always got a problem with our England side. We never think we're going to go and do it. There's always an issue. I just think a lot of improvements needed if we're going to challenge for this tournament as a whole. Yes, we've got the easier bracket, but we can't, count our chickens before they've hatched. If we get past Germany here, we get Sweden or Ukraine in the next round, which is a very favourable tie. But
I don't know. That Swedish side, if they qualify further, it will be a very, very, very tough opponent.
Definitely. And I think if you were going to have a bet on who was going to win the tournament now, in terms of a value bet, you've got to go for the likes of either. For me, I'd say probably Denmark or even Sweden. Just that route. England are capable of just snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Is something that we've done time and time again. And everyone's kind of saying for me that, but Germany, they're not the team they were. They're finished. This England side should be battering them. But you look at the numbers, the underlying numbers, they don't scream team in trouble. In fact, in that group of death with France, Portugal and Hungary, they posted the best expected goal difference out of any other side, plus 2.7 in terms of XG, like goal difference. And France did seem happy when they played them to let them have the ball and allow the Germans to kind of dictate after taking the lead. And I worry that's just the kind of thing that England would do as well. And I think personally France are probably a bit more solid than England are at the back, despite the fact that we've not conceded yet. I think we've been largely lucky and haven't played anyone of the quality of Germany as of yet. And we saw, like I previously mentioned, Germany blew away Portugal, slightly fortunately, but they still ran them ragged down the flanks. And I think that's where we need to be careful. And it is a selection headache. I do think we just need more creativity. Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice holding it stifles us somewhat going forward, I think. And also, kind of basic stat, England have lost their last 3 at Wembley against Germany by a 1-goal margin, so I expect things to be tight. But nevertheless, it's a derby. I think both teams can be got at, and I think Kane's due a goal. So for me, same as Alex, same bet, both teams to score, 1.85, minus 120. That's the bet for this one. Don't go with winners, don't complicate it. I just think both teams get on the score sheet.
Interesting, I like it. So you're both going for England to concede their first goal of the tournament against the mighty Germany. I personally think whoever wins this game is going to the final. No doubt about it. If England win this game...
No, mate, no. You don't wait and look at the Netherlands at all. The Netherlands.
No chance, no chance. If England win this game, they go into the quarterfinals.
It's coming home!
They made work of Sweden in the last World Cup. They would easily beat Sweden for me. The Netherlands is a more difficult game, but if you look at the quality in either England or Germany, they would have to roll over. They would have to roll over the Netherlands. It would be at Wembley if it was England. Even Germany, I would fancy to beat Netherlands. And then you get to the final, and then anything could happen. But I think the winner's going to come from the top half of the group. Still probably France for me. Of the top half of the draw, sorry. I'm probably still edging towards France, but you never quite know in 90 minutes.
I mean, France at 5 right now. No, don't take them because the price is very bad. If you want to take England or Germany, even that, their price is bad at 7 and 8.5. But I totally agree with George here. At 51, you can take Sweden. If they passed over Ukraine, which I think that they would do, I think that they might pull an offset against England or Germany. And after that, you are with a lot of profit, and you can hedge whatever you want.
It's the value bet. It's a value.
I'll take any bets on Sweden. I'll give you 100 to 1 on Sweden winning this tournament. I'm sorry if there's any Swedish fans watching it, because I'm a big fan of your beautiful country, but I'm afraid I don't think you're going to win Euro 2020. No danger whatsoever. But yeah, I'm going for England draw no bet in this game. I think at Wembley they can get the job done. Solid defence against Germany's chaos at the back. I'm going for Gareth's men to go and get the job done. Okay, quickly moving along, we have got our final game is Sweden versus Ukraine. Possibly not the most glamorous game of the round of 16, but an interesting clash of styles. Sweden have been relatively solid. They haven't had much possession, but they defend pretty doggedly. Isak has looked very dangerous in attack without actually scoring. Whereas Ukraine, not particularly great at the back, but fantastic going forward. A lot of energy, a lot of desire. Been quite impressed by what I've seen from them, aside from the Austria game. I'm going for Sweden, to be honest, in this game. What do you think, George?
Yeah, well, Sweden's been obviously a pick that's served us well so far throughout this tournament. But yeah, again, looking at XG of the teams that have qualified for the last 16, the top 3 for goals against expected, both of these sides are in the top 3, which is another reason I think there could be goals in this game, because Sweden, who've been brilliant going forward, the likes of Forsberg, my favourite player of the tournament for me so far is Alexander Isak. He's just been a revelation, been brilliant. The chances he's created, some players have that. You watch them play and they've got it. They've got that X factor. And for me, Alexander Isak has that. But likewise, with Ukraine, they've been all right going forward. I was a bit worried for them in terms of their performance against Austria, because they were rather fortunate to end up in the knockout stages, weren't they? It was a sole win against North Macedonia that ended up being enough to secure a place on goal difference. But yeah, both these sides have very, very troublesome times at the back. Ukraine have failed to keep a clean sheet against Sweden in their last 3 meetings, and they've also failed to keep a clean sheet in their last 3 matches. And Sweden have been the first to score in 9 of their last 10 matches, to be fair. You look at that game against Poland, which I was concerned about, in that Poland were the ones that really had something to play for. A lot of money came for Poland prior to kick-off, and they still got the job done, despite the fact that they'd already qualified for Sweden. They still got the job done, still managed to score 3 goals. Largely fortunate, very uncharacteristically, Robert Lewandowski missing an absolute sitter. But nevertheless, this Sweden side, they're organised, they push forward well as a unit, but they do both have defensive frailties. So for me, I do see there being at least a couple of goals in this game. And I was very surprised to see that over 2 Asian goal line at 1.88, which is around minus 114. So that means if you back that and there's only 2 goals in the game, you get your money back over 2.5 and we win the bet. And I just don't see how, with these sides' defences, how there aren't a couple of goals in this game. And the way that Sweden have been playing, I fancy them to progress beyond Ukraine. Like I said, that Ukraine performance against Austria was a bit alarming for me, how it looked like they'd almost just kind of felt, oh, we're going to go through anyway, most likely, so we just won't bother playing. And I appreciate this is the round of 16, so the motivation will be back, but it concerned me how very quickly they were able to just kind of turn off. And if Sweden go a couple of goals ahead quickly, could that be the case again? And I do worry for them. And Sweden possess a bit more quality for me, a bit more organisational ability. And I think they've got, Andriy Shevchenko has done wonders for this Ukraine side. But I think Anderson has just got this Sweden side playing exceptionally well. And if they can just tighten up a little bit at the back, they could be real dangers in this tournament. I know, obviously, Martin, you completely disagree. But I think Sweden could be the value bet here. And I see them getting past this Ukraine side with at least a couple of goals. But I think there could be a few. So, yeah, for me, the main pick, over 2-goal Asian line at minus 114.
Nice. Yeah, I don't mean to knock Sweden in terms of, I think they're a good team. Like you said, I think Anderson's done a terrific job. There's a great togetherness about them. They've got collective ability and there's a little bit of individual brilliance. I just don't think they're good enough to go on and win the tournament when you consider the depth of quality in the rivals that they're going to face if they have to go all the way. I really think they're going to beat Ukraine. I think they're better than them, but I think they're crashing out of the quarterfinals because I can't see them beating either England or Germany. I've actually got plus 135 or 2.35 in European odds on Sweden being eliminated in the quarterfinals. I'm going to go and place that bet after this show. Discussion that we've just had. Alex, you think Sweden can go and win Euro 2020, so I assume you're betting on them to win this game.
I didn't say that I'm betting on Sweden to go. One second. It's one to say that Sweden is the value bet at 51, priced at 51, and you can later on, after even if they win against the Ukraine, you go hedge your bet. And one to say that, Sweden will go all the way and win the entire tournament. But let me tell you, it will not be very easy for Germany and England if Sweden will progress and they will meet Sweden in the quarterfinals. Yeah, very impressed with Shevchenko on the brilliant work that he did since he took over this Ukrainian national team. Very impressed that most of the players are playing for Dynamo Kiev, Shakhtar Donetsk, so they really know each other, minus, let's say, Zinchenko, Malinovsky, and that's about it, maybe Yarenchuk. They had in one match 8 players from Dynamo Kiev, with Mircea Lucescu winning the title in Ukraine with Dynamo Kiev last year. Very good national team. Very impressed with what they put together in terms of team spirit. But in the same time, I love the Swedish side very much in this tournament. I love the going forward from them with Isak and maybe Quaison. Right now, Kulusevski is back. Forsberg being absolutely outstanding, very consistent player also for his national team, also for his club. They have some defensive problems, but still they are more experienced at the back than what Ukraine are, with Lindelof being their top defender there. Because on the other side, you have Ukraine with Zabarny. This Zabarny is a child. Yes, he is 18 years old. He has a great future. Already many Premier League teams are asking about him. But the mistake he did on that Austrian goal was very bad, and also I didn't like him. Maybe the lack of experience was one of the reasons why they shut it down against Austria. They, like George said, they believe that they will go through anyway. but they were very lucky to go through. Very, very lucky. Once they are here now, they have nothing to lose. So probably they will play very relaxed. They have 2-3 again experienced players in Zinchenko and Malinovsky. Malinovsky, I was very disappointed with him against Austria because he's one of my favorite players in Serie A. But I still think that this Swedish side will win in 90 minutes. I will take a more conservative bet here. Sweden minus 0.25 on the Asian handicap, meaning that if they end this match in a draw, you will lose only half your stake. So Sweden minus 0.25 on the Asian handicap at 1.95 minus 105.
Glad to hear it, Alex. We're all seemingly singing from the same hymn sheet on this game. Just for Charla Vanni in the chat keeps asking, what is hedging your bet? So the concept of hedging your bet is essentially covering multiple outcomes on the same sporting event, ideally in a way that guarantees you a profit regardless of what happens. So let's say now you bet £10 or $10 on Sweden to win Euro 2020. And then Sweden go on and they beat Ukraine, they beat England, they beat the Netherlands, they beat everyone and they get to the final. So you know that you're going to win $5,000 if Ukraine win the game. You would then stick, I don't know, $3,000 or something like that on the team that they're playing, probably France. And that way you would cover yourself regardless of who wins. So the idea is to cover multiple different outcomes, lock in a profit regardless, or at least mitigate the chance for large potential losses on one team. That's how you hedge your bets. But
this is why we call him the accountant, Martin the accountant, because he said to you everything about the hedging your bets. Or you have also the other option, if your bookies allow it, cash out option. So basically is almost with hedging your bets, but it's more simple. Sometimes you get a better price on a cash out option, sometimes on a hedging option. But if Sweden, for example, right now will win against Ukraine, you can even cash out your ticket before the next game, and you will be in profit already. You know, you don't have to do all the accountancy and mathsing. Leave it that to Martin, and you cash out, and it will be more simple like that.
So head on over to sportsbookreview.com/betting-calculators, and you will find our hedging calculator right there. It will tell you exactly how much you should place on a hedge to ensure maximum profit regardless of which outcome pays off, which is a nice little segue for me to say, thanks very much for watching. And well, we're going to do the picks first, but I will say head on over to sportsbookreview.com for all of those free betting calculators, advice and strategy on how to bet, lots of picks from Alex and all the rest of the team. It's a great resource for sports bettors. Esteban, could we have the picks, please? Okay, so Alex is going for over 2.5 goals in the Croatia versus Spain game at plus 105. He's got France -1 Asian handicap at -105. He's going both teams to score in the England versus Germany game at -118. And he's giving Sweden a little 0.25 Asian handicap at -105. George is going for Spain -1 Asian handicap at odds of plus 107. Good price, that. France just over 1.5 team goals in their game at -125. He's also got England versus Germany, both teams to score at -118. So they both agree on that. Looks like a good bet for everyone. And finally, he's just going for over 2 goals on the Asian line in the Sweden versus Ukraine game. So if there's 2 goals, you get your money back. If there's more than 2 goals, you're in profit. I'm going for both teams to score in the Spain versus Croatia game at plus 115. I've got France to win and over 1.5 goals at -105. England draw no bet at -120. And I'm going for Sweden. Moneyline win. I've always liked Sweden. Absolute quality team. Big fan of Sweden. Come on, Sweden. Everyone in the chat, thank you so much for watching. Let's all wish Alex a happy birthday, many happy returns, lots of tea, lots of meditation, lots of clean living. And thanks everyone for watching. Thanks, George, for joining us. Thanks for all your chats. Good luck with the tips over the weekend, and we will see you soon. Goodbye.
Thank you
you.
very
Take
much,
care.
guys. Best
Bye-bye.
of luck.